HIV, and it becomes prevalent in society, and a lot of people getting infected randomly to a point that it can destroy society. The What governments will do is they'll quarantine the people, they quarantine them, and then get rid of them so that the majority is safe. You know, like if the flu virus started taking over the world in a very prevalent way, what governments will do is they'll quarantine people with that disease to prevent others from getting it, and then they'll do away with them. So people with little witches, they kind of like this situation. They've gotten infected with a spirit that causes them to destroy society. They cause accidents, because they're thirsty for blood. They drive people to commit suicide. They do a lot of bad things in society. Very, very bad things. Witches. So this is why the Word of God instructed in the Old Testament to have them killed. And that's why people like Elijah had them killed. You hear that he had prophets of Baal kill a whole bunch of them. Killed at once. And God supported him. Because these people, they're a threat to society. They cause destruction. But in our days we have grace. We have something you call grace. God has given us the grace to be able to treat these people, which is what Jesus is working towards. These people can be treated. So it's not a matter of, so in the Old Testament they killed a lady that committed adultery. This was a law to show you how serious that kind of offense can be in destroying society, some of the foundations of society. A woman that sleeps from man to man, that can really bring a lot of destruction to society from the way God designed it. A woman is supposed to stay with one man. She can't have more than one husband. Okay, but in the New Testament, a lady committed adultery, and Jesus forgave her. He didn't have her killed. Why? Because more grace. As we grow in knowledge, as we grow spiritually, as society grows, then we achieve better solutions for these problems. When we don't have the right solutions, the only way to do back in those days was get rid of them completely out of society. So we try and keep this to a minimum so it don't destroy society. And then we get to a point like Sodom and Gomorrah where fire has to come from heaven. In our days we'll call them asteroids, or we'll call them burning planets, but those things can still happen. Fire can come in and burn up a whole nation. God can do that if we get to that point. So to prevent us from getting to that point, there was okay that in the Old Testament that you kill somebody that committed adultery with another man's wife. You kill both of them to prevent society from going to homosexuals were killed. People that had witches were killed too in Israel. Every society, you allow evil to go so on, and the morals drop of the society to a point that that kingdom can't function no more. Falls. Society fails. This happened to the Roman kingdom. It happened. Every major kingdom that's ever fallen is a point where wickedness arrived to a point where society could not sustain it, and it failed. It's designed that way. Okay? So in our case, we have grace. Many kingdoms have fallen. The Romans fell, the Greeks fell, the Persians fell, Egypt fell. Every society, Sodom and Gomorrah got demolished directly by God. He sent fire and just did away with the thing. But all these kingdoms, what happened to them was to serve as a lesson for us. Because if you read the book of Daniel, it tells you that in these days, God will set up a kingdom that has no end. So God is doing things a little differently. He's giving grace, extra grace, so that these people that normally we should get rid of them. This is what they're fit for. They're of no benefit to society than to get rid of them. These kind of people, we can incorporate them into the society somehow by the grace of God. So we have solution for them, and they call it deliverance. It has to be orchestrated by God in His timing and His ways. But we have that grace now that those people back then didn't have. And the only way to deal with the people was to get rid of them. I'm giving you the example of a quarantine. If you have rampant flu or a rampant disease, epidemic, pandemic, governments will quarantine the people that have that disease and get rid of them. This because they have no other. If they have no other solutions, they don't have a drug that can cure that disease. They quarantine the people and just allow them to die off, or kill them, or wait until they find a cure for that kind of disease. This is how governments will deal with it. So, in the spiritual, it's kind of the same thing. If this being a witch is like having a deadly disease. Okay. Those evil spirits make them do things against their will, things that are aimed at destroying society. In a following video, I'll give you a more detailed reason of why evil spirits use them to do what they do, and some of the examples that I myself have faced. I'll explain to you what I faced and why the evil spirits use the people to do what they did in the way they used them, so you can kind of understand why things are done the way, why the evil spirits do what they're doing, and why it is, and how God is planning to resolve that problem. Okay. Right now it seems like it's a pandemic. It is. There are millions of them all over the world, and we don't have a drug to test if someone has an evil spirit. So you might accuse someone of having an evil spirit and they don't, but you might think someone doesn't have an evil spirit and they actually do. So to detect that kind of thing, it takes a spiritual person. Okay. When you hear that an FBI agent found dead, and his body found, what, 2 months, just like a mile away from his house, first you ask yourself the question. A little boy, I forgot what, I think it was in Colorado or one of those states, went missing, and they sent out a whole task force with horses to go search this, to comb the whole area to find that kid. And an FBI agent goes missing less than a mile from his house, and some random person finds him a mile in the. You see, when these kind of things happen in society, it's telling you that the very intricate functions of society is failing. Why wasn't there a task force sent out to comb the area to find this guy's body the 2 months that he was missing? And they're just now finding him. And it's not even the FBI that found him, just some random guy found him and made a call. You see, you're working with people. Your subordinate that's giving you information could be a witch lying to you and you don't know. Your boss that's over you could be a witch lying to you and you don't know. See, it's invaded society. You don't know very well. Trust that person. They pass the test, exam, everything. They're good on the job and they're a witch. That's how comes they can tell you that they heard news about 9/11 and they didn't make it till it happened. How could they not put it all together? Because the very people that are supposed to be investigating that kind of thing are themselves the perpetrators. So they'll keep that information from their boss or keep that information from their subordinate, because the evil spirit in them is telling them to do so. You understand? So they've infiltrated all levels of society. You don't know who is who. We don't know. So when this kind of things happen, only God, only a spiritual person can fix it. Because only God can fix this kind of thing. Okay? It's telling you that society is failing. The very fabrics of society is failing. We have all the equipment to ensure that there's